friends, the con artist has struck again, and this time, Omar Khan's move sends a clear message to the entire league. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not waiting around for their defense to figure things out. Late Tuesday night, the Steelers pulled off a quiet but meaningful trade with the New England Patriots, landing veteran safety Kyle Duggar in exchange for a simple late-round pick swap. On paper, it looks like a small move, a 6th-round pick turning into a 7th-rounder and Duggar coming to Pittsburgh. But beneath the surface, it's a signal, a statement, a declaration that this team knows its weakness, and it's not afraid to fix it fast. So, go ahead and smash that like button to show some love for the video and the channel. Deshaun Elliott's knee injury opened a hole the size of a crater in the secondary, and instead of waiting weeks for recovery updates, Mike Tomlin and Khan acted immediately. Duggar arrives with a reputation as one of the league's more versatile safeties, a physical, downhill presence who isn't afraid to hit and has proven capable of handling tight ends and slot receivers. The move instantly injects experience and toughness into a safety group that had suddenly looked uncertain. And for fans frustrated by the defensive inconsistencies in recent weeks, this feels like a proactive step that's been long overdue. Duggar's path to Pittsburgh isn't random. He's a former first-round pick out of Lenoir-Rhyne who built a reputation in New England as a thumper with elite athleticism, someone who could play in the box, blitz off the edge, and make plays in space. But under the Patriots' new defensive scheme, he lost his starting spot to younger players. That opened the door for the Steelers, who saw an opportunity to get a proven NFL starter for virtually nothing. When you think about value, it's almost hard to believe they didn't give up any real draft capital, just a slight downgrade in pick position, and they got a player who can start right now while Elliott recovers. And here's where it gets interesting. Duggar isn't just any safety. He already has built-in chemistry with Jabril Peppers, his former Patriots teammate who's now also part of this Steelers roster. The two spent years playing side by side, and that familiarity could make a world of difference as Duggar integrates into the Steelers' system. If the plan is to pair Peppers and Duggar as the starting safeties until Elliott returns, Pittsburgh could be looking at an immediate upgrade in both communication and physicality on the back end. Chemistry is something you can't fake, and that's why this addition might click faster than anyone expects. There's also the question of fit, and that's where Duggar's versatility shines. At 216 pounds, he's almost built like a linebacker, but he moves like a safety. He thrives against the run, doesn't shy away from contact, and has enough range to cover tight ends, something the Steelers have struggled with repeatedly this season. When you look back at the last few games, the lack of consistent coverage against tight ends was glaring. Duggar's skill set directly attacks that problem. Now, let's address what this means for the rest of the safety room. Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill are officially on notice. When a move like this happens, it's not just about filling a gap, it's a performance message. Both have seen their share of struggles in recent weeks, particularly in deep coverage and tackling efficiency. The arrival of Duggar shifts the balance, and possibly the pecking order. If you're a fan of accountability inside this locker room, this move should make you smile, because it tells you one thing: complacency is not tolerated in Pittsburgh right now. And don't forget, Duggar's impact might stretch beyond Elliott's absence. When Deshaun returns from IR, Pittsburgh could find itself with 3 viable safeties capable of rotating or even being used in hybrid packages. Imagine scenarios where Duggar slides into the box in dime formations, freeing Patrick Queen to blitz or rest while Peyton Wilson handles coverage duties. That kind of flexibility could give the Steelers' defense the versatility it desperately needs in a division filled with mobile quarterbacks and dynamic tight ends. Mike Tomlin confirmed that Elliott's knee is hyperextended, and while it's not season-ending, the timeline means he'll miss at least a month. Duggar's arrival ensures that this defense doesn't spend those 4 games searching for answers. He's a plug-and-play veteran who knows how to communicate and execute under pressure. If he picks up the playbook quickly, don't be surprised if he's starting this Sunday against the Colts. Financially, the move also makes sense. Duggar is under contract for 2 more seasons after this one, though his salary isn't guaranteed beyond 2025. That gives Khan flexibility. If Duggar plays well, Pittsburgh can keep him without worrying about long-term risk. If not, they can move on easily. For now, though, he's a perfect fit for a defense that needs both experience and attitude. You can't help but admire how Omar Khan continues to navigate these mid-season situations. Time and again, he finds low-cost, high-value solutions that patch immediate weaknesses without sacrificing the future. Fans might debate the offensive side of the ball every week, but defensively, it's hard to argue with the front office's urgency here. The bottom line? The Steelers aren't standing still. They've looked at their defense, seen where the bleeding was happening, and acted decisively. Kyle Duggar brings physicality, experience, and proven production, all for the cost of moving back 1 round in the draft. It's classic Khan, smart, calculated, and quietly aggressive. When you take a closer look at this deal, it's not just about filling a temporary hole, it's about reshaping the identity of the Steelers' secondary. Over the last few years, Pittsburgh's defense has been built around its pass rush, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, a front seven that creates chaos. But the back end? It's been patchwork at best. Injuries, inconsistent play, and constant rotation at safety have made it hard to build continuity. With Kyle Duggar now in the mix, the Steelers finally have a chance to create some balance, and more importantly, stability, in their defensive structure. Think about the difference this could make in communication alone. One of the biggest issues the Steelers have faced has been breakdowns in coverage, especially when it comes to assignments between linebackers and safeties. Duggar's experience in a disciplined, detail-heavy system like New England's could bring an immediate upgrade in how this unit communicates on the field. He's been part of complex defensive schemes before, where versatility isn't optional, it's required. That kind of football IQ could rub off quickly on this locker room, especially for younger players like Peyton Wilson and Joey Porter Jr., and that's what makes this move even more strategic. Omar Khan didn't just trade for a player, he traded for a tone setter. Duggar plays with an edge, a kind of controlled aggression that fits perfectly with Pittsburgh's defensive culture. When you watch his tape, he's not the flashiest guy on the field, but his physicality jumps out immediately. He attacks blocks, wraps up cleanly, and finishes tackles with force. He's not just trying to make the stop, he's trying to send a message. That's something this defense has been missing since the injury bug hit earlier in the year. Of course, it raises a few questions about what the Steelers plan to do next. With Duggar's arrival, someone's snaps are going to get cut. Juan Thornhill's inconsistent tackling and Chuck Clark's struggles in coverage make them the most likely candidates to lose playing time, or even roster spots, once Elliott returns. The Steelers are well aware that their margin for error is shrinking as they fight to stay competitive in the AFC North. Every mistake in the secondary has been magnified by the kind of explosive offenses they've faced recently. Duggar's addition might be their way of saying enough is enough. And yet, the move also feels like a glimpse into how Khan and Tomlin want to evolve this defense for the modern NFL. This isn't just about surviving Elliott's absence, it's about preparing for flexibility. Imagine a three-safety rotation where Duggar and Peppers play closer to the line of scrimmage, and Elliott roams deep. That setup gives the Steelers options they haven't had in years, the ability to disguise looks, bait quarterbacks, and mix coverages without exposing themselves to the big play. It's the kind of versatility that allows the defense to dictate the game instead of reacting to it. Still, the big storyline heading into Sunday will be how quickly Duggar can get acclimated. The Steelers expect him to report immediately, and he could practice as early as tomorrow. Whether or not he starts against Indianapolis will depend on how fast he picks up Terrell Austin's terminology and play calls. But make no mistake, Pittsburgh didn't trade for him to sit. They need him on the field, now. The Colts' offense leans heavily on quick throws and tight end involvement, which makes this matchup almost poetic. Duggar's first test could come right in the area where the Steelers have struggled most. Financially, the deal remains one of Khan's best examples of value hunting. For the cost of dropping a pick one round, from a 6th to a 7th, the Steelers landed a former first-round talent who's still got 2 years left on his deal and no guaranteed money after this season. If he plays well, it's a bargain. If not, the team can walk away with zero long-term impact. That kind of low-risk, high-reward flexibility is exactly what's kept Pittsburgh competitive even through roster transitions. Now, let's talk about Duggar himself for a second, because this is a player who's more than just a name on the depth chart. In New England, he tallied over 300 tackles in 4 seasons, forced multiple fumbles, intercepted passes, and even scored defensive touchdowns. He's proven he can produce. He's been in playoff battles, he understands film preparation, and he's used to adapting quickly to new schemes. The Steelers need that maturity in the secondary right now. Leadership isn't just about speeches, it's about doing your job right, every down. And Duggar brings that. There's also something to be said for the timing. Pittsburgh's defense has taken a lot of criticism in recent weeks, not just from fans, but internally. Reports have suggested there's been some frustration over missed assignments and poor tackling technique. Moves like this don't happen in a vacuum. They happen when the coaching staff and front office see something that needs immediate correction. And by moving decisively, Khan and Tomlin send a strong message to the locker room. Accountability is real, and playing time is earned. So as the Steelers gear up for another pivotal stretch of the season, this acquisition represents more than just a roster move. It's a spark. a calculated jolt designed to wake up a defense that's been too quiet lately. Whether Duggar ends up being a temporary patch or a long-term piece, this move shows exactly the kind of intent that fans have been begging to see. It's Pittsburgh recognizing a problem and refusing to wait until the offseason to fix it. Steelers Nation, now it's over to you. Was Omar Khan right to pull the trigger on Kyle Duggar? Do you think his arrival will stabilize the defense and bring back that old-school Pittsburgh toughness we've been missing? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and keep an eye on the screen. We've got more breakdowns, analysis, and insider reactions coming up next. Now, let's talk about Duggar himself for a second, because this is a player who's more than just a name on the depth chart. In New England, he tallied over 300 tackles in 4 seasons, forced multiple fumbles, intercepted passes, and even scored defensive touchdowns. He's proven he can produce. He's been in playoff battles, he understands film preparation, and he's used to adapting quickly to new schemes. The Steelers need that maturity in the secondary right now. Leadership isn't just about speeches, it's about doing your job right, every down. And Duggar brings that. There's also something to be said for the timing. Pittsburgh's defense has taken a lot of criticism in recent weeks, not just from fans, but internally. Reports have suggested there's been some frustration over missed assignments and poor tackling technique. Moves like this don't happen in a vacuum. They happen when the coaching staff and front office see something that needs immediate correction. And by moving decisively, Khan and Tomlin send a strong message to the locker room. Accountability is real, and playing time is earned. So as the Steelers gear up for another pivotal stretch of the season, this acquisition represents more than just a roster move. It's a spark, a calculated jolt designed to wake up a defense that's been too quiet lately. Whether Duggar ends up being a temporary patch or a long-term piece, this move shows exactly the kind of intent that fans have been begging to see. It's Pittsburgh recognizing a problem and refusing to wait until the offseason to fix it. Steelers Nation, now it's over to you. Was Omar Khan right to pull the trigger on Kyle Duggar? Do you think his arrival will stabilize the defense and bring back that old-school Pittsburgh